We stand at the precipice of a transformation so profound, it redefines the very essence of human experience. Unlike the revolutions of the past, forged in steam or silicon, this one is quieter, more pervasive. It's a quiet revolution of light and code, weaving itself into the fabric of our daily lives in ways both subtle and seismic, often without us even noticing. Imagine a world where the boundaries between the physical and the digital dissolve, where your office, your classroom, your doctor's surgery, even the company of your closest friends, can exist in spaces made entirely of code, accessible from anywhere at any time. This isn't science fiction. It is the emerging architecture of our next reality. A world built not on land, but on servers. Its cities constructed from algorithms, its landscapes rendered in pixels. A persistent, shared universe that continues to exist and evolve even after you've logged off. In this world, your morning commute could be a simple thought, transporting your digital self, your avatar, to a collaborative workspace that exists everywhere and nowhere at once. Here, you might work alongside colleagues from every corner of the globe, manipulating complex 3D models with your hands, brainstorming on infinite whiteboards, your physical location becoming irrelevant. The very concept of the office could be rendered obsolete, replaced by a more fluid, creative, and globally connected model of productivity. Imagine a classroom without walls, where a history lesson means walking through a digital recreation of ancient Rome, guided by an AI tutor that adapts to your personal learning style. Picture a medical student performing a heart transplant 1,000 times without risk, honing their skills on a digital twin so accurate it responds just like a human patient. An aspiring artist could learn sculpture by manipulating virtual clay with haptic feedback, feeling the material take shape under their hands. Education and training could become deeply experiential, democratized, and profoundly effective. Consider a healthcare system where distance is no longer a barrier. An elderly person in a remote village could receive a specialist consultation from a doctor thousands of miles away, their avatar appearing in the patient's home with a comforting presence, able to review real-time biometric data from wearable sensors. Mental health therapy could take place in serene, custom-built virtual environments designed to promote calm, offering a safe space for healing that transcends the clinical setting. This technology promises not to replace human connection in care, but to extend its reach. And what of our social lives? Our friendships, families, and communities? In this new reality, you could share a walk on a Martian landscape with a friend in Tokyo, or attend a live concert with millions, each experiencing the perfect view. Family gatherings could transcend geography, allowing grandparents to read a bedtime story to their grandchildren as if they were right there in the room. Love and connection, the most fundamental human needs, will find new ways to flourish across these digital frontiers, creating shared memories in worlds born from imagination. This is a world where reality itself becomes optional, not as an escape, but as an expansion of choice. We may choose to live and work primarily in the physical world, augmented by digital layers that provide information and context. Or we may choose to spend significant time within these fully immersive synthetic environments. The distinction will become a fluid spectrum, not a binary choice. Humanity is learning to live, work, and love inside a digital universe, and in doing so, we are expanding the very definition of place and presence. But this monumental shift does not come without profound questions. It is a future that must be built with intention, foresight, and a deep sense of shared responsibility. What infrastructure will be required to power this global persistent simulation? The energy demands, the computational power, the sheer volume of data. These are challenges on an unprecedented scale. How do we ensure that this new reality is an inclusive one, a space that bridges divides rather than creating new ones? The risk of a new digital divide, A chasm between the virtually enfranchised and the physically isolated is very real. What happens to our identity when our digital selves become as important as our physical ones? Who owns the data of our virtual lives, our conversations, our creations, our simulated experiences? Is it the platform, the user, or something else entirely? How do we govern these new territories, which transcend traditional borders and jurisdictions? The ethical frameworks for privacy, ownership, and digital rights have yet to be written. We are like cartographers of old, drawing maps for a continent we have not yet fully explored. And perhaps the most fundamental question of all, what does it mean to be human when the line between the real and the artificial blurs? As we build these new worlds, we are also rebuilding ourselves. This journey will challenge our definitions of work, community, reality, and our own consciousness. Over the course of this journey, we will explore the foundations of this emerging world, from the digital twins of our cities to the new economies that may arise within them. We will examine the promise and the peril, the displacement of old jobs, and the creation of new ones we can barely yet imagine. We will confront the ethical dilemmas and celebrate the human ingenuity driving us forward. The future is not a destination. It is a reality we are actively creating, choice by choice, line of code by line of code. The story of our transition into the digital universe is the story of humanity's next great chapter. And it starts now. For decades, our digital lives have been confined to flat screens. We've connected, learned, and played through windows on our desks and in our hands. But this two-dimensional interface has always kept our digital and physical worlds separate. Now, the internet is beginning to break free from the confines of the browser and the app. It's evolving into something far more integrated, a persistent, three-dimensional space where the boundaries between our physical and digital realities begin to dissolve. Welcome to the Metaverse. It's a term you've likely heard, but what does it truly represent? Crucially, this isn't a single product or a game owned by one company. Think of it less like an app and more like the internet itself, a vast, interoperable network of virtual worlds and augmented realities. It's envisioned as the successor to the mobile internet, a new layer of reality built on the convergence of several foundational technologies. At its core is the experiential layer, the interface through which we will enter this new reality. Virtual reality, or VR, offers total immersion, transporting our senses to new, digitally constructed environments. It disconnects us from our physical space to grant us access to any space imaginable, from the surface of Mars to the inside of a human cell. Its counterpart, augmented reality, or AR, doesn't replace our world, but enhances it, weaving digital information directly into our physical environment. AR glasses could show you the history of a building as you look at it, or guide your hands through a complex repair. Together, VR and AR create a spectrum of mixed reality, allowing us to choose moment by moment how much of the digital world we let into our physical one. But these worlds would be empty shells without intelligence. This is where artificial intelligence becomes the central nervous system of the metaverse. AI will be the architect, generating vast, detailed worlds on demand, tailored to our desires. It will power non-player characters, or NPCs, evolving them from scripted robots into dynamic beings with their own goals and memories, making them indistinguishable from human avatars. AI will also act as our universal translator and personal assistant, making the metaverse feel alive, responsive, and infinitely expansive. For this new world to truly be ours, we need a new system of ownership and trust. This is the crucial role of blockchain technology. While the current internet is largely controlled by centralized platforms, the metaverse proposes a decentralized model. Blockchain provides a secure and transparent public ledger, allowing for true, verifiable ownership of digital goods, from a piece of virtual land to a unique work of art, to the clothes on your avatar. This creates a user-driven economy, fundamentally shifting the balance of power from the platform to the person. Powering this entire ecosystem is a staggering level of physical infrastructure. This isn't just software, it's hardware on an unprecedented scale. We're talking about a global network of high-bandwidth connectivity like 5G and next-gen Wi-Fi, a new generation of powerful, efficient microchips, and massive data centers to host these persistent virtual worlds. The metaverse won't just exist in the cloud. Its creation will be one of the most significant infrastructure projects in human history. And looking further to the horizon, quantum computing promises to unlock a level of computational power millions of times greater than today's most powerful supercomputers. This leap could enable simulations of reality at the molecular level, or power AIs with a complexity that begins to approach consciousness. It could make the metaverse as rich, detailed, and unpredictable as reality itself. When these foundational pillars converge, they will do more than just create a new platform. They will redefine how we live, work, and connect. The workplace will be unconstrained by geography, built on collaboration in shared virtual spaces. We will learn by doing, practicing complex skills in immersive, risk-free simulations. And social connection will gain a new dimension of presence, allowing us to share experiences with loved ones as if we were physically in the same room. Entertainment, commerce, healthcare, every facet of our society will be reimagined. This inevitably leads to a fundamental question about our own identity. As our lives become increasingly intertwined with our avatars, and our most cherished memories are made in virtual worlds, this evolution will challenge our very definitions of self, community, and reality. It will force us to ask what it means to be authentic when we can be anyone we choose. What does it mean to be present when we can be anywhere? And perhaps, most profoundly, what does it mean to be human? The metaverse is not just a technology, it is a new canvas for the human experience. In this film, we explore the future economic and environmental impacts of immersive technologies and how they may reshape and even replace traditional human employment. Between 2025 and 2030, the foundations are laid for a new reality. This isn't a sudden, dramatic shift, but a quiet, profound convergence of technologies that have been maturing for decades. High-speed connectivity, artificial intelligence, and spatial computing are no longer separate domains. They are weaving together to form the very fabric of our world, creating a seamless bridge between the physical and the digital. The raw power of global fiber networks, the predictive insight of machine learning, and the intuitive interfaces of augmented reality are merging into a single, cohesive technological stack. This period marks the beginning of what we might call the era of simulation, where the ability to model, predict, and interact with complex systems in a virtual space becomes not just a tool for specialists, but a fundamental utility for society. It's a time of immense experimentation, where the initial, often clumsy prototypes of the early 2020s give way to sophisticated, scalable platforms that begin to reshape entire industries from the ground up. This evolution is fueled by an explosion in data, the digital exhaust of our physical world, now captured, processed, and understood in real time. The seeds of a new, deeply interconnected world are being sown, and the first shoots are emerging in the most critical sectors of our global economy. At the forefront of this transformation are enterprises, which begin to build digital twins of staggering complexity and scale. A digital twin, in its essence, is a living, dynamic, virtual replica of a physical object, process, or entire system. It's not a static model, it's a mirror world, fed by a constant stream of real-time data from sensors, drones, and IoT devices. This creates a feedback loop where the physical world informs the digital, and the digital model, in turn, optimizes the physical. In the realm of urban planning, this technology becomes indispensable. Imagine a city council using a digital twin of its entire metropolitan area to simulate the effects of a new public transport line before a single track is laid. They can model traffic patterns, predict changes in air quality, and even simulate emergency response scenarios, like an earthquake or a flood, allowing them to identify vulnerabilities and optimize evacuation routes with unprecedented accuracy. They can test the resilience of the power grid against a heat wave or analyze the social impact of a new zoning law, all within the simulation. This moves city management from a reactive to a proactive discipline, saving resources, improving quality of life, and building more resilient, sustainable urban environments for millions. This same principle is revolutionizing global supply chains. For decades, logistics has been a high-stakes game of reacting to unforeseen disruptions. A storm in the Pacific, a labor strike at a key port, or a sudden spike in demand could send shockwaves through the entire system, creating costly delays and shortages. Now, major logistics firms are constructing digital twins of their entire end-to-end operations. These are not just maps, they are living ecosystems. A manager in Rotterdam can see in real time a container ship being delayed by weather in the South China Sea. The system, powered by predictive AI, can instantly simulate dozens of alternative routes. It might suggest rerouting the cargo via air freight from a nearby port, or diverting a different ship to compensate, all while calculating the cascading impact on costs, delivery times, and carbon emissions. This isn't just about avoiding delays, it's about optimizing the entire flow of global commerce. This grants businesses a form of precognition, allowing them to navigate the inherent chaos of the physical world with newfound agility and efficiency, ensuring goods get where they need to be, when they need to be there. Retailers, in particular, are leveraging these simulations to tackle the notoriously complex last-mile delivery problem. They can simulate the layout of a new fulfillment center to find the most efficient placement for every item, minimizing the distance robotic pickers have to travel. Before a single shelf is installed, they know the optimal configuration. They can model daily delivery routes for an entire city, adjusting for traffic, weather, and even the probability of a customer not being home, all to ensure that packages arrive faster and with a smaller environmental footprint. This level of predictive optimization allows for new delivery models to emerge, from hyperlocal micro-fulfillment centers to autonomous drone and rover fleets that seem to anticipate demand before it even occurs. For the consumer, this translates into more reliable service and faster gratification. But for the industry, it represents a fundamental rewiring of the relationship between inventory, transportation, and demand, creating a system that is not just efficient, but intelligent and responsive. Perhaps the most profound shift, however, is happening in education. During this foundational period, we see the rise of the first truly viable virtual learning environments. Students begin to attend campuses that exist nowhere on Earth. These are not simple video calls or online forums, but persistent, immersive worlds where presence and interaction feel real. The technology becomes comfortable, intuitive, and accessible enough for daily use. A history student from a small town can walk the streets of ancient Rome alongside classmates from 5 different continents, guided by a leading historian whose avatar stands beside them, feeling the scale of the architecture and hearing the din of the crowd. A medical student can practice a delicate surgical procedure dozens of times on a photorealistic anatomical simulation, gaining muscle memory and confidence in a zero-risk environment before ever touching a real patient. An architecture class can collaboratively design and walk through a full-scale model of their building, testing its acoustics and light flow in real time, making changes with a simple gesture. This democratization of experience breaks down geographical and economic barriers to elite education. It shifts the focus from rote memorization to embodied learning, fostering intuition and deep understanding. It creates a generation of students who learn by doing, in environments limited only by the human imagination. These are the foundational pillars: simulated cities, resilient supply chains, and boundless classrooms, upon which a new kind of reality is being built. Hybrid offices replace commuting. Energy consumption falls. Emissions decline. But a quiet revolution begins: automation through avatars. By 2030, millions of jobs in retail, administration, and customer support may vanish, replaced by invisible algorithms. The first wave of displacement begins: the automation of human employment. By the 2030s, digital societies arise, economies thriving entirely within immersive worlds. New careers flourish: metaverse architects, digital asset brokers, experienced designers. Yet inequality grows. A digital divide separates those who can afford immersion from those still bound to the physical. Education and healthcare are reborn as experiences, learning through living, healing through simulation. But dependence on synthetic reality blurs the boundaries of identity. By mid-century, the physical and digital merge. Humanity enters a mixed reality civilization. With neural links, thought becomes communication. AI co-workers collaborate beside us, part human, part algorithm. Commuting declines, construction slows, but energy-hungry data hubs surge. The race begins for renewable, carbon-neutral digital economies. By 2045, humanity may achieve a carbon-neutral immersive economy where creativity thrives sustainably. The metaverse redefines work itself. Automation performs most tasks. Human employment becomes voluntary. Universal digital income rewards imagination, learning, and ethical data sharing. Wealth shifts from material ownership to digital influence. Who owns what AI creates? Who taxes digital wealth? New laws for a world without borders must evolve. Beyond economics lies the singularity, when artificial intelligence equals, then surpasses human intellect. At that moment, consciousness may be digitized. Thought itself becomes information. Mortality, identity, and self are redefined. Humans evolve into cybernetic hybrids, existing within universal data clouds. Humanity transcends biology, physical extinction replaced by digital persistence. As we colonize Mars, immersive technologies accompany us, recreating Earth's culture and emotion beyond the planet. Our heritage travels through interplanetary clouds, a universal memory of civilization. Humanity becomes an information civilization, consciousness traveling at light speed across the stars. The metaverse is not a destination, but an evolution, reframing how we live, learn, and connect. Whether we remain flesh and blood, or become patterns of light and code, the future, as always, will be what we choose to create.